Hey guys, what's up? This punk guy here. Thanks for joining me for another album review. But this time it's going to be a little bit different. We're not doing an album review. We're going to do 2018 in retrospective. Yes, 2019 is upon us. And as we move into the new year, I wanted to just take a look back for a second to look at all the albums I got a chance to review. So these are the top 5 albums I got to review this year in 2018. Let's get into it. Before we get into it, I want to talk about a couple albums that I didn't get a chance to review, and I wish I would have had a chance to review. Now, this first band let's talk about is a band called Informal Society. They are from Los Angeles. They are a LA street punk band, as street as punk as you get, singing about drinking beers, having sex, and, spiky chains and leather jackets. So they just dropped their second album this year, Sorry for the Mess, and it is a great follow-up to their first album. And like I said, if you like street punk, you're gonna love this band, and I'm so glad to see them starting to get recognition, not only in LA, but in the world. They're gonna be playing PBR this year. There's one word to label them, it's fun. They're nice as hell guys, too. So I would definitely go on to Spotify, or whatever you guys listen to, Spotify, Amazon, and check out their album, Sorry for the Mess, and take a listen to it. If you like things like the Casualties or the Crumb Bums, you're gonna like these guys. So they only had a digital copy, no physical copies. That's why I didn't do the album review on this channel, but I would have. And next time, if they do come out with an EP or something, I'm definitely reviewing them. So one more album I wanted to talk about before the top 5 was The Last Gang. Now, they dropped their first album on Fat Records. It was called Keeping Them Counting, their debut. And man, that was such a great album. I wish I would have listened to them. I knew they came out with the album. I didn't really give them a chance to listen to. It didn't really interest me for some reason. I don't really have an answer to why it did or didn't. And it's funny because Brianna's band before that, I really liked a lot. And I followed her, and I think they had 2 or 3 albums that came out, and they were a really great band. So when this album came out, I don't know, it just didn't naturally excite me, but man, was I mistaken, because the minute I listened to it and I decided to give it a chance, I fell in love with it. And it probably would have made my top 5 albums of the year if I had reviewed it on my channel. So that's kind of a bummer, but I'm glad I got to see them recently, and man, they're an amazing band, so everyone, please go check them out, The Last Gang. So before the good, let's talk about the bad. Let's talk about an album that when I first listened to, I thought was a really great album. I had a lot of initial positive reviews and a lot of positive things to say about it, but the more I let it marinate with me, the less and less I actually liked the album. And that I'm talking about is The Interrupters' Fight the Good Fight. Now, I'm not saying this is a horrible album or anything, or it's a bad album, but I definitely would have gave it a lower grade than I initially had intended it for. And the first 2 albums are amazing. I love those first 2 albums. To me, this one just doesn't hold up. It's not as catchy. It's not as hooky. I know that they were trying to do something a little bit different, be a little more commercial. When I look back, it just didn't work for me. It wasn't my favorite album. It's definitely my least favorite album of that band. But I know that they're awesome people. They are really amazing and caring musicians. So I only hope the best for them. And if any of you guys feel the opposite, leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think about the album as well. If maybe it didn't marinate with you guys like it did with me. Or maybe it did. Maybe it's your first time being introduced to that band. Let me know right in the comments. Alright, here we are now, down top 5. We're going to get into it. The top 5 albums that I reviewed this year. Starting with number 5. The 5th album in the slot is the opposite of The Interrupters. When I first reviewed it, I initially thought it was whatever. But the more I listened to it, the more I ended up really loving it. And that was Pennywise's Never Gonna Die. Now, when I first heard it, I thought it was kind of just a copycat of everything they have already regurgitated. But in retrospective, I didn't really pay attention to all the nuances they really put into this album. Yes, it's a Pennywise album, and like in the review I said, it's a Pennywise album. It sounds like a Pennywise album. If you're expecting Pennywise, you're going to get Pennywise. But just something about this album really struck a chord with me, and I really felt like they put a lot more passion than I initially gave them credit for. And I definitely take back all the mediocre critiques I gave it, because I really did end up loving it. And the initial track, Never Gonna Die, really is fucking fun song. It reminds me of, Full Circle albums where they're just like, fist pumping, face forward, let's go, let's fucking get 'em type of feeling. And I really get that album after listening to it. And when I thought it would be out of my playlist, it's actually on my playlist again. I've been listening to it a lot. So, congrats, Pennywise. Number 5 took the slot. Let's get into number 4. Number 4. So the fourth number is U.S. Bombs Road Case. And after talking to a lot of people, I noticed that they weren't the biggest fans of this album. A lot of people didn't really have a lot of positive things to say. I, on the opposite, was never, like I said before, a huge Bombs fan. But I resonated with the album. I really loved it. I really love the songwriting in it. I really love the way he had interpreted the lyrics and the emotion that I felt. I really felt something when he sung these songs. And so, like I said, it was a powerful album to me, and I really loved it. So that is the number 4 song of the year that I reviewed. Number 3. Album number 3. Album number 3. What am I talking about? I'm talking about World's Scariest Police Chase. Album 3. That is one of my favorite albums of the year, hands down. It is a masterpiece. It's great. It's super funny, it's super satirical, and it's very unapologetic. And you gotta love people that really can do that. And I see they're touring, and I want them to come to the West Coast. Please, guys, come to the West Coast. A mix of melodic and hardcore elements to both sides are really like a good blend. So, if you like hardcore, then you'll like this. And also, if you like, melodic, funny stuff, then you'll like this. It's really good to see bands doing this kind of stuff, really testing the waters, and really, with their backs against the wall, really having a lot of important things to say, but not taking themselves so seriously. So, World's Scariest Police Chase, album number 3, my favorite album. Number 2 album of the year. The number 2 album of the year for me is The Casualties' Written in Blood. So with the new singer comes a lot of variables. And I think they kind of hit every variable like right on the money with this album. Everything is top notch. I really do love this album. And, I gave it a 4-star when that album came out and said, I would have gave it higher, but, it wasn't my favorite Casualties album. After constantly listening to it, it definitely is my favorite Casualties album now. They hit it out of the park. I really do love the new singer. I like him better than George. I'm gonna have to go out on a limb and say that. It's an amazing album. Really, really good and put together. It's a tight album. It's long enough to give you that Casualties feel, but it's not like a super long album, so it leaves you wanting more. Written in Blood, an amazing album this year. Kudos to the Casualties for making street punk sound so great. Number 1. The number 1 album that I reviewed this year. So in order to hype this a little bit, I want to talk about all the amazing bands that put out amazing, great albums. Authority Zero came out with an album. I reviewed that last week. I didn't put it on the list because I hadn't had a chance to really listen to it, so it didn't get a chance to make the list. But a lot of great bands, a lot of big bands, put out their stuff. And I gotta say, out of all those bands, it was a small band that came out of Orange County that really just hit the nail on the head and became my favorite album of the year. And that is Chasers, Sound the Sirens. The best skate punk album, hands down, of the year. Not one fat record band could hold a torch to this. Is that the way? A torch to this album. Sound the Siren is an amazing comeback album. After being broken up and, going through some changes, this album knocks it out of the park. My favorite album of the year. Perfect versions of melody, skate punk, everything that you want in an album as far as, that 90s sound, which I'm very, very, very personal to me. So when I see bands, like Face to Face or something, this is what I want them to come out with, this type of sound. This is what I love, man. So, the number 1 album, Chaser, Sound the Siren. So, kudos to you guys. Cheers. You guys have the number 1 spot of the top 5 albums that I reviewed this year. Now, before I go, like I said, I just want to say thank you guys again for watching these videos. I really do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And I'm looking forward to 2019 even being bigger and better and doing more reviews. Thanks to all the new subscribers I got. I keep getting more and more every day, and I really appreciate all the comments you guys leave. Let me know which reviews you guys want me to do in the near future. A lot of great bands coming out this year, and I really look forward to doing more of these. These are really, really fun and exciting for me to do. But the point is, I'm just trying to put out positive energy, and I hope you guys give me positive energy back. So thank you again, 2018. This was a fun year trying out this experiment on my YouTube channel. I've never done anything like this before, and I'm grateful, and I hope to see other reviewers too. I know that are out there that follow me. I follow them too. Maybe do a collab or something like that. Let's get something started for 2019. And until then, I'll see you guys at a show.